right, mostly crazy all the time. I have we have a note from mostly crazy all the time that I'm not sure I'm going to read it, but it's kind of funny. My daughter stayed up late, and we drank whiskey and watched game shows during my nighttime practice hours. Hate to admit this, but I'm climbing in bed without practicing tonight. Wow. Yeah, no, I get it. I've been watching The Muppet Show, the old reruns of The Muppet Show, and what a great time that is. I'll tell you what, it's what a public service that show was. And the music on that show was just amazing. Just amazing music. Have a great day and listen, my friend. Absolutely. You too. Thank you again for great boost in the arm the other day. We had a wonderful session, didn't we? And we'll have many more to go. I think what we're going to do is take a look at why we show up for these things. So I'm going to continue tuning the guitar. And I'm assuming that you're joining me this morning. I know it's Friday and we're ready to get moving. And so we'll leave a lot of the slow moving stuff and the observances for Friday, and we'll take a little more for Monday, upcoming Monday morning, and we'll take a few more risks this morning during the live session. If you're here and you are playing along with me, I'll try to be respectful of that and not talk a whole lot during the tuning process. I could explain the tuning process again if I like to start with the tuning fork at A440. Hey Marlon, good morning. It is a great day for guitar. Absolutely. So here's the reference tuning pitch. It's A440 cycles a second. I'll give it to you again in just a moment, because what happens is I'm playing fret number 5 on the A string, natural harmonic, and that is going to give me what I need in order to reference A at 440 cycles per second, which is what we're all tuned to, right? I guess the whole world agreed on A440 as concert, we'll call it concert pitch, so we can rely on being roughly in tune anywhere in the world, as long as we reference A440. So my guitar is pretty close this morning, and then once I get that reference pitch in shape, I'll run up to fret number 12 on the A string, on that same reference string. Now that this string's in tune, I won't touch it again, but I do use 12 on the A string to create a reference pitch for fret number 7 on the D string. There's a little bit of a wobble in it. I think it's a little bit flat, but we might call that close enough for today, because we'll be more observant of that on Monday morning. Do the same thing, fret 12, fret harmonic on the D string, and that's referencing the 7th fret. And what I'm doing is I'm just trying to check around the scale of the guitar, just to confirm that the string is in tune, and it sounds like the 5th or the 12th is in tune. So we're just going to assume that, again, we're close enough for today. So fret 12th natural harmonic on the G string, and then fret number 8 on the B string. I've been playing guitar for years. Hey Noel, good morning. Thanks for popping in. I hope you have your guitars today, but never used a fork. What difference does it make? Wow, that's a great question. So here's the reference pitch again. And what I'm trying to do is get away from anything that isn't powered or regenerating of its own, on its own free will and accord. So once we set a metronome, like a weighted metronome in motion, you know, that stays moving. So I don't rely on a battery. I don't rely on anything that isn't sort of, I guess, if you will, of the world, I guess. I'm not sure if that's really the... So we've got this tuning fork that, as long as I don't hit it on anything metal, it will maintain its weight and mass. So that will be a constant. I'll just accept this as a constant. So this will be my reference point. It's the same thing as using a guitar tuner, only we miss aligning ourselves with the world. And we don't, I mean, we certainly get busy enough and we just want to plug into a tuner and set it, forget it, and go. But we also want to have the capacity to tune ourselves with the world that we live in. So that's a really important piece of what's going on here with this metronome, the metronome number 2 at the moment, but principally the tuning fork, because if we're not in tune, we can't really trust any of the decisions musically that we make. So if we're in tune and the instrument is properly intonated, then we can really go somewhere, right? And so that's the idea, is to just kind of use the manual piece of it. So here's the reference pitch. If you're using fret 5 natural harmonic, Marlon, I see what you're doing. I'm just going to give us a second to reference this. I'll put a link of it to it. You can go grab one. They're like $5 in my YouTube the community posts. So you can find it there. And when this video reposts after we're finished with the live, it will also have the link in the description. So you can find these on Amazon. I have to do a shameless self-promotion here, so don't hate me for it, but the link is an affiliate link. So if you do decide to get it locally, I fully supporting your local shop owners. If you can't source it locally, use the link in the description and you can fund your friend who's sort of like beyond hyperlocal. So definitely appreciate that. And but I also appreciate the need to have the right tool for the job. And that's not to say that an electronic tuner isn't the right tool for the job, but it is a step away from where we want to be. Hey, good night, Mohammed. How you doing? Complex Mind. Hey, can you wish Dixon Maez a happy birthday? He's turning 6. Oh yeah, do we want to do that? I've got another one here. Let's take a minute to do that right after we finish tuning up. We've got to tune up first. Thank you for that. That's good. That's a good thing to observe. Before you get started, Marlon says, do you have any tips or suggestions on how to become a better rhythm player? Oh yeah, we're talking about that during this warm-up. Every time we warm up, we're always observant to rhythm. So this is where we belong, right here. And we're just, I know I'm going to continue to repeat this, but we are using a metronome and sometimes we forget it's running. But if you let it run all the time at 60 beats per minute, it does improve you just through absorbing that. So definitely keep the metronome on. That's topic number 1. I wouldn't shut it off if it doesn't, it bothers some people, it really bothers some people and they just aren't able to work with it. But I think even for tasks, for those complex tasks, those complex communications that you run in your day-to-day life, running this in the background while you're generating an important email is certainly of benefit. It can be of benefit. So now that we're talking about rhythm and we're almost tuned up and ready to play a quick happy birthday, now that we're talking about rhythm, we just focus on breath. I'm gonna breathe out as far as I can. I'm still fasting this morning. I shared with you yesterday that I would start by fasting this morning. I wanted to see how that changes our approach if we didn't break the fast until after our first guitar. If we get in the practice of being engaged in the fast while playing the guitar, you know, it's the first thing that we do. I like to get up and take care of myself, obviously dress myself, but I think it's a good first thing to do is be cognizant of breath while you're practicing the guitar. And so let's check to see if we're in tune. I don't hear anything out. I hear it's all good. Hey, Jim, in my opinion, I appreciate that. That's a cool username. So let's take a quick look at Dixon Maya's happy birthday. See if we can manage this. And then we're off and running into the world of warm-ups, because warm-ups are so important. This is the two. I'm anticipating starting the song and building excitement for an audience that might be listening. And I'm just starting to figure out like what kind of resonances do I want to use in a song like this. So I'm getting a little bit busy with the right hand right now. I'm just trying to feel resonances and see what the guitar is liking. And that's, I think, what we find about guitars when we get gifted our first guitar, speaking of birthdays. When we're gifted our first guitar, yeah, cool. Happy birthday, Malin. Is it Dixon? Dixon, yeah. I knew that. I was just making sure you're paying attention. So I don't know if you like that sort of stuff, but if you're able to follow along with me, that first guitar, I remember the first guitar. And I had no idea that it was going to set in motion such a wonderful journey. Had no idea. Sip of the bean. Back to breathing and happy birthdays and wishing people well around the world, our neighbors, our friends, our family, ourselves, and God. So I'm starting almost always with you at 60 beats per minute. I will never change for the course of this next year where we're all engaged together on this project. We are not going to deviate from 60 beats per minute, even though it seems like we might want to play, 16th note triplets at 180 beats on the metronome. We can still get there by using multiples or whatever of 60. So 60 will be our, we get comfortable walking down the street on our guitar's tempo. We want to be as at ease with our breath while we're performing these warm-ups. And that's such an easy thing to overlook. It's so easy to overlook this piece, this very serious piece of gear, which is the cardiovascular system. And that's the first most important piece of gear to buy. And then you don't buy it you can't buy it with cash. You gotta buy it with time and focus training and just getting that simple act of breath separated from our guitar playing is quite an adventure to begin with. So I might be moving pretty quickly for some of us who are just becoming, sort of aware of how important breathing is in the practice of the guitar in our musical world. So we have this wonderful opportunity right here, right now, while we're all very serious and engaged and watching. We have this really great opportunity to smash that like button. I waited too long. You probably saw it coming, right? But I do have a few things that we're going to talk about that are different. We're going to take us into some different places. If you're playing along, if you are seriously doing it, let me know. Hey, what's going on? This is finger exercise, nothing else. Okay, is that a statement? Is that a suggestion, an observation, saying you want us to stay here? Abi, good morning. And I am working on good mornings and tongues, new native tongues for me. So I think, I'm just wondering, is it a question? Are you suggesting we should stay on just finger exercise and nothing else for our morning ritual? Or are you asking if this is all it's going to be? Because if it is, I'm getting out of here. I've got other things that I need to be doing. I appreciate that. This is typically, the first start of the day is typically our warm-up period, like finger warm-ups. And we do get through warm-ups sometimes, and sometimes we don't quite make it all the way through in one sitting. So sometimes we go a little further, to include like arpeggios and other sort of expanded finger awareness exercises. But for the most part, yeah, it is going to be finger warm-ups that I've talked through. And then actually, I could have said that while I was practicing. Yeah, and sometimes I just kind of get out there, and you kind of just have to reel me back in, Good morning. What's your recommendation for fingerstyle songs? That's a good, I'm working on Landslide. That's great, Joe. I appreciate that. I did do a full lesson. You can search that full session on Landslide. I want my sessions to not feel like they're edited for retention. I want my sessions to feel like they're just like real life, sit down and talk about a guitar song. And, stay focused on that guitar song, but just kind of get outside of that box a little bit, because I always look for a great level of detail in my instructors, and for some reason, most of the time that was supplied. I observed that, but other times I want my own wishes and my own direction to be augmented by those outside, by some extrinsic motivation, I think is what I'm trying to say. So let's go ahead. I was there. Now we need to, fingers 3 and 4 stretched. Now let me just set this up. We have this nice 3 and 4, we've been working the 3rd and 4th fingers out, but we're importing I guess it's a fret skip or fret jump, or finger stretch, I guess we'll call it in the world of our guitar. But we're offering this as a viable option because we really want to develop these fingers. But my guitar lessons, my full-length guitar sessions that are sort of like quasi-produced, are designed also to just be sort of expansive and satisfying in a way that I would want to approach a song. And I figured, you know, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. Some of these things I've almost outlived their point of origin. Yeah, peace, brother. So I would, you know, if Joe's got a question here. Number one, good morning. We could all salute back to. It's cool to. It's customary in this channel to, you know, communicate those pieces and stuff back to one another, and it's definitely welcome. So I know it takes a little bit of time to get used to, you know, a chat culture, but we'll get a nice chat culture developed here. So far it's been really great, but you know, Joe's looking for other fingerstyle songs, and love to hear some of what you guys think about fingerstyle songs. And if you have specific questions or directions to offer about such a song, but song titles would be a good place to start, and that will it might prompt other discussion. Sunwalker says you should try my favorite chord. Ring finger. Oh, okay. Cool. We'll take a look at it. Abi, I'm from India, and it's Marathi. Are you, what language do you speak? Are you translating? English is probably better than mine, but I'm interested in learning some, like, I don't know if it's Hindi or I'm definitely actively working on that. So if you have any good links or resources for me to learn more about that language, I'd love to do that. I'm from India, and it's evening here, so I don't know it's morning there. It is, and it's going to be we're coming up on the half hour, but I feel like we have a lot more to discuss, right? And let's take a look at that chord so we can, Sunwalker's chord. You should try my favorite chord. Ring finger on the 8th fret, 5th string. Okay. Then middle finger on the 7th fret, 4th string. Then pinky, 9th fret on the 3rd string, then index on the 6th fret, 2nd string, then open E. All right, pinky on the 9th fret, 3rd string, then index on 6th fret, 2nd string, then open E. I just wanted to be sure what you're asking me. It is a major 7 kind of chord, right? So what are we talking about here? Let's take a quick look. And this is why I'm so glad that you asked this, Sunwalker, at this moment, because this is literally what we're exercising the 4th finger for. So you can feel the 4th finger just getting stronger. 4th finger's definitely there, and we've been cultivating that, so you should feel good about that. So he's basically, what Sunwalker's doing, I think Sunwalker, I don't know, he's whatever. So Sunwalker is he's getting me to think that, you know, because he's put the bass note in the on fret number 8 on the A string, it's an F note, right? So F major 7 with an E note. So what's E have to do with that F major 7? We're going to discuss that. So what we'll do is we'll run some of the exercises I was thinking about running in E, but we'll run them in F this morning. How's that grab you? Like a man with no arms? Hopefully it reaches better than that. So let's come right back to that so I can finish up the warm-up. So exciting times right here on our morning journey. I think I've come up with a name for our time together for the next year. I think I've got a name dialed in. I'm going to release the name as a new playlist. You know, it's going to be, I'm grouping all of these after they're live. I'm grouping all of these and, you know, the live stream or whatever the live playlist is, I think. But I'm going to make a new playlist and include only these videos, no other live videos, just this group of us hanging out in the morning, warming up, finger exercises, plus, you know, other stuff. We're going to have a new playlist name. So keep your eyes up for that. While you also, today is the day where we have the final release of Silver Bells, and I thank you. I'm excited because some of you are actually downloading the song. I couldn't believe it. So my hope is that a high percentage of those people downloading the song learn it and then play it back at 60 beats per minute so we can edit a nice video and produce it and, you know, can kind of release it on this channel as a little bit of a celebration for our first goal being met. These little things build up, you know, they're little feathers in the cap. And they do add up to something useful. Just have to, what do you call it? Trust the process. And it's all about just working that easy finger stretch, that easy finger pattern that gets you there and back again safely. Oh, let me find it. There it is. I could hear it. I'm going to try to not look at my fretboard anymore. I'm going to try to just rely on my ears. And if you stick around with me long enough, I've had some great, wonderful mentors, musical mentors in my lifetime, as you will in your lifetime, or as if you have had in your lifetime, that say it's important to be able to sing everything that we play. Yeah, whatever, you know, but it is true. It's true. It's true. You know, you've got to, if you can sing it, you can play it. You can play that, right? So we can figure it out note by note. But I'm using F, A, major 7, so root 3, 7, and then root doubled. And then with a major 7 in the bass. Wow, man, that is some heavy stuff. Yeah, the bass, to change that bass note, it's like pulling the, you know, the band in the bar room is just cranking and they've just got Mustang Sally and everybody is just grinding holes in the dance floor. And then someone comes along and pulls the carpet out from underneath everybody, and they're all like, "What? What's that?" But it is kind of different. It does give you a little bit of extra perspective. Marty McFly, all right, message retracted. Sorry to hear that, but I hope you have a wonderful morning, and thank you for making the effort. Have you doubled with modal interchange? Oh, dabbled in modal interchange. I love finger plucking chords, strings, skipping. Good. My favorite chord is ring finger on, oh, Captain Cash. We've got a chord coming in now. Okay. I do. I know some Hindi song. Can you make some recommendations for me, Abhi? Please? That would be great. And maybe make them for all of us. I think all of us would certainly appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that. Dabble in it. All right, here's my favorite chord is ring finger on 3rd fret, 5th string, 3rd fret, 5th string, 2nd fret on the 4th string, and index on the 1st fret, 2nd string. I love how we're spelling it out. It's very explicit instruction, and that's a good way. You all sound like great guitar teachers. You know, to me, you sound like great teachers. So keep that kind of language coming forward for sure. Marty McFly, I typed it incorrectly, LOL. Do you practice in the mirror? Oh, what? It corrected so much for me when I was learning. Oh, it corrected so much for me when I was learning. Okay, Marty. I would assume you had a lot of learning going before you decided to step in front of that massive speaker and then blow your first chord and end up on the other side of the room in a pile of rubble. I'm assuming that there was a lot of guitar practicing. Just play G major, add C9, and C9. Okay, cool. All right. So we're going to get into that. Let's do the, let's take the two chords and maybe we'll get a bridge going with Abi's. I'm going to borrow from some of these ideas and then we're going to work out this F major 7 thing. Because we have warmed up our fingers, it's getting a little bit late and we do want to keep ourselves sort of engaged with our daily schedules. So I don't want to step all over that and disrespect that at all. So here we are with F major 7. And I'm back to, where did the metronome go? D4. And I want to try to use a tempo that I can manage, carefully. And that's why 60 beats per minute is so useful for us, because we have that, I always feel like I can always go back to walking down the street. And then, no, so we don't want to use that yet. And then we want to use maybe C add 9. Or the C, Captain Cash's favorite chord. And we don't ever want to overlook the value of open chords or quote unquote simple chords, because they've been with us for a long time for a reason. The same way a perfect triangle has been around for a long time before we were able to reason. Alright, so G major 7 and C add 9 is basically the same thing if I went to transpose this to the key of C, right? So, Abi, would you be okay if we started working on Let It Be, arranged a quick version of Let It Be in the key of C, but using your recommendation, we'll kind of move up to the F major 7. And this is going to be a great picking exercise for me, and I'm still engaged in warm-up, so I'm not done practicing yet. I'm focusing on what I have. And I've been given the ability to play, or the information to play, the C major chord in open position. I had it spelled out, and I've seen some other finger picking or other flat picking exercises elsewhere on the web. And I know that I can use a forward roll. I can use that alternating bass line. I know I can use a forward roll with just a pick raking through the strings, and then a reverse roll, just a pick reverse raking through the strings. And then I also know that I can do that forward and reverse roll with by employing binary picking, or down and alternate picking with the down and up and down and up with the picking hand. So it's but I want to break it up a little bit more. I want it to be a different kind of feel. I want there to be some space. I want that octave note to sort of linger around. And once I pluck it, once I attack it, I don't want to interrupt it. So I'm going to try to stay away from it. So I'm not quite sure on the pattern is what's happening here. So I think we got a pattern figured out. And how long have you been playing? Angelica Montgomery, good morning. Can you please play Sometimes by Alex? She had just learned it. All right. I'm going to take a solid look at it. And usually when I take a solid look at something, I usually will put it at, I will usually build a tutorial out of it as I'm learning it. And that way I can share it in a more meaningful way. So I definitely appreciate those recommendations. Mate, I subscribe to your channel. Catch you later. Have a good day. All right, Abi, thank you very much. I really appreciate you coming by, and I'll see you again tomorrow, same time. Saturday, Sunday, Monday at the same time. Same bat time, same bat channel. We'll talk to you soon. And we're getting ready to wrap for the day, I think, anyway. But thanks, Sunwalker. Thanks for the recommendations, everybody. Can we get the likes up to over 20? And that would be consistent to where we normally like to be at. And if we see that kind of stuff, it will also encourage others to join the conversation and come and help to influence and shape our conversation that we're having 5 days a week, every morning for roughly a half an hour plus for the next year. This is going to be a good, wonderful experience that we can all benefit from. So definitely, if you're liking the stream, share it with your friends, and invite them. It's free. This is all going to be free for a year. Do you know what I mean? It's like almost like a commitment, almost. And it's almost like a commitment. But I look forward to commitment, and it keeps me moving forward. It keeps me driven. It keeps me wanting to better my person and be competitive and love my neighbor at the same time. And then by being competitive, it also engages something in my neighbor that maybe they weren't naturally engaged with. I'm not getting that chunky data sound, that 8-bit sound with a C chord. But I am able to do it here with this chord. I'm wondering why. Oh, I've got to break the connection with the root note with my third finger. And then before I play the next string, right? So there's a little dance going on. I can't pull my third finger completely off the string though, because if I do, I introduce unwanted string noise. So it's just a careful calculation of, remove enough pressure from the third finger to break the connection with the fret from the string, but not to break the connection with the fingertip from the string. 3, 4. Maybe this will be the intro, right? If learns this and then records it on their YouTube channel, please share it with me, or share it with us under this link when it becomes, not a live session, or share it in the community section or whatever. I definitely want to see any progress. I'm definitely interested in seeing what's going on. I mean, and to get to know, and for me, it's all a learning experience too. So this will be the intro for Let It Be. Something like that, okay? We'll use that. And Sunwalker, thanks. I think this is going to be a great little experience. So let's start working on, the melody of Let It Be. I think it's going to play out nicely in the key of C. I wasn't really expecting it to work that well, but this is going to be great because now we have that F sharp, what is it? It's an F major 7 chord with that half step influencing, where it's not supposed to be, where you're supposed to go up to the subdominant part of the harmonic experience. It's not that. It's a little bit more, jingly jangly. So we'll have to, because the song is what it is, we'll have to treat it. We'll have to give it a treatment, which means, if we had the distorted guitar going, it would be like a Tool song. So it's not, we need some treatment. So let's see. So if we're in the key of C, da da da. So we're starting on do, re, mi, fa, sol, and la. So sol, la, do, sol, sol, do, re, mi, re, do, and then mi, fa, mi, re, do, fa, no, fi. Right, it's not a Simpsons song, right? And then we have this nice F that we'll be using. This is going to be really interesting to drop that bomb underneath that F and Let It Be, right? So you can see where this is going. We have several obstacles or challenges to overcome if we really wanted to take it seriously and build a beautiful arrangement around the song. So yeah, great questions. Building an arrangement around Let It Be probably should be an upcoming challenge that we all want to undertake together. And let's see, love the tension back into the home chord. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just one of those beautiful things. So let's take another look at the melody that we're going to wrap for today, okay? And I hate to leave us, but I do respect your time and certainly don't want to encourage you to misuse or misplace your time, because it's hard to find it again, you know what I mean? So, so we're just pretty much trying to imply harmony right now. We're just trying to explore and get those, whatever we do melodically, sometimes the chords will finger out, sometimes the melody will take us into uncharted territory. And that's where the magic happens, right? Everybody knows that's what Eddie Van Halen found, where he found it. And so it's a matter of self-discipline, but bringing us back into that world of practical application where we're actually doing the rubber meets the road thing, the actual focus. Let's stay on the road. Don't look over here too long because, you know, it's bad for business. So we're going to do a little bit of discovery journeying along in this live sequence as well over the next year. But I definitely appreciate you being here today. And I will definitely see you again on Monday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to continue on this journey. And don't forget, you can find the full download for free of Silver Bells so that we can all learn it and play it together and continue our fun and take the next step and finalize that project. But you know, if Let It Be, if we want to continue working on that, we can start with that, you know. But Monday morning will be, you know, arrive 7:30, guitar is in tune. We're ready. I've got a metronome. I'll supply the metronome so you can listen to the click track and play along. And we'll warm up carefully on Monday, all right? Hope you all have a good weekend. Oh, let's see. Yuda, hello there. I've been playing guitar for like 6 months now, and I feel like I'm kind of stuck in my progression. Would be nice if you can give me some advice. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry to miss that one. Let me just respond to that because it's that's important. You know, if you're 6 months into it, learning sequencing goes like this. So we learn rapidly, and then we reach saturation, and then we plateau. And then that plateau can last, you know, no one knows how long we have to trudge. We have to bring gear into camp, you know. If I'm going to climb to Everest base camp, I'm just using it as a metaphor. We all know you don't just go from sea level up to Everest peak and back down to sea level in a, you know, it's not a day trip. So we do have to carry gear into base camp. And that process of carrying the gear into base camp usually is, you know, yeah, we know what the objective is. The objective is I want to become a guitarist, but right now I'm kind of just lugging gear and I don't really know how many 17-mile trips back and forth I'm going to need to make, you know, lugging gear. But I know the objective is once I get to base camp, once I near the plateau, the end of the plateau, I know that there's a base camp. And now all we need to do is wait for good weather to start learning quickly again, right? So that's sort of like my quick analogy. We'll absorb a lot fast and then we'll just we can wonder and then we can just kind of continue to grow as long as we, you know, we got to make it through those plateaus. If we don't make it through that stuff, that's where we fail, you know, and it's a good thing to reach out, and it's a great question to hear again. I've heard it time and again, and since I've been a teacher, and I've asked the same thing myself, and I continue to ask the same thing myself. But we just keep going, and then we get a little thread of something new and something different, and then we take off in a new direction. So one of the things, I guess one of the easy ways I would answer that question is you'd want to be maybe listening to new things, different things, things that you wouldn't normally listen to or play. Maybe learn to play some new things. So this is a good environment for that. If you wanted to subscribe, we definitely appreciate your subscription. And we definitely appreciate you banging the, jamming on the like button or whatever, smashing the like button. I'd like to get 20 before we sign off. Can we get 20 likes? That would be really cool if we could. But I would encourage you, if I'm saying that correctly, to jump on board and join us on the mornings. It's Monday, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And all kinds of great guitar players hanging out here, asking valuable questions and basically driving the direction of the channel, at large. But maybe you don't, need to know that. But I think it's important to know that we're all here, we're all very interested in the guitar, and that we're all going to continue playing because we ask the questions that need asking, right? So thank you for reaching out and asking that. I already subscribed. I really love the way you explained it and love the vibes too. Well, I certainly appreciate it. It's important to be practicing our craft. So I'll leave you this. This is it for today for me. It's about improving the self through study, right? Which I could always do more of. And then improving my family with that fortification. Then in turn, we can, as a group, fortify community. And then, theoretically, we could impact the world, right? So, there's no reason why we can't benefit all from doing this together. So thanks, and we'll see you again this coming Monday. If you want to watch some of this stuff again, there's some great detail work in here today. I'm surprised, actually, how detailed it got. And I'm certainly going to publish it once it becomes ready for publishing. So keep an eye out. And until we meet again, happy picking.